Hello, and welcome to another episode of CGN Live. This will be CGN Live number 5, I believe. My name is Taylor of Taylor Talks Comics. We're going daytime today. We went prime time the last couple of weeks, but we are here at noon Eastern. We have the nice sun shining through, so hopefully the lighting will be a little bit better than it was last week and the week before. If you're in the chat, please say hello. Let's get some interaction going on in the chat. Let me pull up my second screen here. Oh, I got my. Sorry, I had my sound turned on there. Okay. So yes, if you're in the chat, please say hello. Let me know what comic books you're reading lately. But today at CGN Live, we're going to be talking about all the comic books that Cheap Graphic Novels will have on sale next week, starting on Monday. We always have the new books that are going to be on sale. We have them available Monday evening. So also make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I always make a post whenever we go live with those sales. So Monday evening, whenever they're ready to go, whenever they're ready to be ordered, I make a post about it so you can get your fingers ready to click on and order those books. Next week we have, it's a little bit of a smaller week, but there's still some big books coming out, some big important books. And hello, Hess. How are you doing, my man? Yes, if you're in the chat, please say hello. There are still some big books coming out next week, but it's not so much. So actually, I'm going to spend some time today too, also talking about the massive Marvel Omnibus Sale that we have still going on at CGN. We still have a lot of Marvel Omnibuses that are up to 60% off. So I'll be going over which ones are still available there. Make sure you don't miss out on the great deals there at CGN. And so if you're in the chat, let me know what comic books you're reading lately, and we'll talk about that. And then let me know what comic books you're looking forward to that are coming out either next week or maybe later this year. Anything we can do to talk about comic books, that's what I want to do. So let me go to cheapgraphicnovels.com and we can start talking about the books that are coming out next week. Boom, ba-dum, boom. Let me see here. Let me go and share my screen here. And then check my other screen, make sure we are seeing the things that we should be seeing here. All right, let me change that a little bit. There we go. All right, looks good there. So this is the front page of the Cheap Graphic Novels website, if you are not familiar. Also, one thing I want to ask too is that everybody subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and give the video a thumbs up. We are close to 100 subscribers, which for this small little humble channel that we just started a couple weeks ago, I'm pretty excited about. If you're already subscribed and you've already given a thumbs up, thank you so much. I will say that please share this channel with your friends too. We are going to go live once a week, and I'm trying to grow the channel to make sure we have a lot of eyes on it, and I can't do that without your guys' help. So please subscribe and share with your friends. And like I said, so this is a front page. We can see here, so the massive Marvel Omnibus Sales live now. March catalog pre-orders are still live as well. I'm going to be posting about those as the week goes on. And there's still a Nick and Dent sale. So you want to go to this week's new releases right there. You can see this week with the cover photo there of Ed Brubaker and Matt Fractions and David Aha's Iron Fist Omnibus that just went on sale. We have that available right now with both covers. And it looks like we have 26 books to show off. And not, like I said, it's kind of a smaller week, but a big week is, or a few big books that are coming out. So we got up first, we have Spider-Man versus Venom Omnibus. And this has 2 covers this time. So the last time this came out, we only had this McFarlane cover. And this came out a few years ago. It went out of print. And they still kept the same names. It's still Spider-Man versus Venom Omnibus. And this is the Todd McFarlane cover. And this will be retail price of $125, but at CGN you can get it 40% off for only $74.99. This includes a lot of stuff in here. I'm not going to read off everything, but it includes Amazing Spider-Man, a bunch of issues of that, Web of Spider-Man, a few issues there, Avengers Death Trap, a couple issues of Darkhawk, which you can't always find Darkhawk in oversized omnibuses, so that's fun. Those are some issues that Venom appeared in, if I'm not mistaken. Then we have Ghost Rider Blaze, Spears of Vengeance, Spectacular Spider-Man issues, yeah, and some annuals. The big thing here, though, that this includes is the Maximum Carnage storyline. So it starts off with, I think it starts off with Venom's first appearance. Let me see. Yeah, Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man 300. It's in there. So it starts off with Venom's first appearance, and it's very much the first interactions between Spider-Man and Venom, which was done by David Michelinie and Todd McFarlane. And then throughout the omnibus, you get a lot of interactions between the two of them, and then it ends with Maximum Carnage, which is the big storyline that happened in the mid-90s, that there was even a video game that was based off of it. And they even based some episodes of the 90s Spider-Man cartoon off of it. And so that ends with Maximum Carnage. So I'm trying to read the chat and go back and forth here. And then this cover is the first time this is available. This is a cover, I believe, from one of the Maximum Carnage, one of the covers from the Maximum Carnage storyline. And this one is by Mark Bagley, the cover is. So you either get a Todd McFarlane option or a Mark Bagley option. But those will both be on sale next Monday at $74.99. Just 40% off. And again, if you're new to the channel or new to the website, it says out of stock right here. Don't fret. That's just because it's not on sale right now. Once it goes on sale Monday night, those will say order now or what have you, or add to cart. I think, I don't know. I'll look at it and see what it should say there, but they will be available for order on Monday night. That is for sure. We have another omnibus that is a reprint, but for the first time, we'll have a direct market variant cover. And this is Silver Surfer by Dan Slott and Mike Allred. And this is one of my favorite omnibuses I've ever read. Sadly, a few years ago, I had to purge it because I was moving and I had downsized my collection quite a bit. But I'm excited it's back in print because I will be buying this again. And I can't wait to read it again. But this is the direct market variant cover, which if you're new to CGN, the direct market variant means that it's an exclusive variant cover only released in the direct market. And the direct market is just comic book shops. That's just all that means. So like your local comic book shop or places like CGN, which is just a big comic book shop. The standard edition covers are the only covers that will be available in the book market, which is like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and those kinds of retailers. And both covers are by Mike Allred, the great Mike Allred, who I call the best cartoonist currently in the business today. He's amazing. And this run itself, so this is it's a slimmer omnibus, but it includes 30 issues of comics. So it includes Silver Surfer 1 through 15, and then they renumbered Silver Surfer 1 through 14, and then all new Marvel Now .1. Don't be shied away by the renumbering. The whole story is very continuous, the 30 issues, and it's all Dan Slott and all Mike Allred, just the two of them. And Dan Slott's been very open about how this run was largely influenced by Doctor Who. So if you're a Doctor Who fan and maybe not necessarily a Silver Surfer fan, I would definitely try this out because it definitely has that flying through the cosmos with a companion type feel of that Doctor Who is. And the companion here for Silver Surfer is a young lady named Dawn Greenwood, and she is just like this very, just very normal human in a polka dot dress, and it's great because through their journey, through Silver Surfer and Dawn Greenwood's journey, they fly through the cosmos, like I said, and Silver Surfer learns more about humanity and what it's like to be a human on Earth through Dawn, and Dawn learns more about the struggles and everything that the Silver Surfer's gone through in his life through the cosmos. So it's like this journey that they go on together, and it's very beautiful and heart-wrenching at times, and just fun. Like, it's just a fun comic book. That was the first cover. That's the first time that cover's ever been released. This is next cover, which is the standard edition. You can see Dawn Greenwood there in her polka dot dress, and this is the cover that's been released previously. And I should say Laura Allred does the coloring. So Mike Allred's wife, Laura, does all the coloring, and it's beautiful. It works so perfectly with Mike Allred's pop art aesthetic that he's so good at. Her colors just go with it so perfectly. And that's the thing I love about Mike Allred's art. It's just like looking at it, it's just fun pop art. And that's something that I've always enjoyed. That's what I love about like the Silver and Bronze Age comics, is like that pop art aesthetic that like Jack Kirby was so good at. And Mike Allred's got that tenfold, but more of a modernist look. And this is a very quick read too. Like, you'll read this in one sitting, maybe two sittings, put it down, and then you'll want to reread it. I can't recommend this book enough. But it is $100 retail price. But at CGN, you can get either cover for just $59.99, and that'll be available Monday night. So that's my recommendation of the week for sure. If you are, and if you've never read a Silver Surfer comic at all, this is perfectly fine for a new reader. You don't have to have read the old stuff, even though I recommend a lot of the old stuff because it's so great. I can talk all day about Silver Surfer, but this is very new reader friendly as well. Then we have Berserk Deluxe Edition, Volume 13. So these are the Dark Horse releases. These are the beautiful hardcover books, which I do have one here I could show off if you guys want me to. But they've been releasing these pretty regularly over the last few years, and they're evergreen. Dark Horse has said they'll keep them in print. So if you're looking at Volume 13 here, don't be, discouraged by being behind 12 volumes, especially if they're not in stock currently. They will be reprinted very soon. And if you're in the chat and you want to know if any of those are in stock, I can look those up for you too. And put those questions in the chat too. If you want to know if a certain book is in stock over at CGN, I can certainly look that up for you, and we could talk about that. This collects Berserk volumes 37 through 39. So those are the Tankobon volumes. And I believe Kenta Miura, who sadly passed away last year, correct me in the chat, but I think he concluded with volume 41, I think. So this volume 13 deluxe, and then volume 14 will be the concluding chapters of what Kenta Miura wrote and drew. And then we'll find out later what happens. Dark Horse has not said what's going to happen to the deluxe editions after that. I know some of his friends and assistants are going to continue the series. So we'll see what happens after that. I'm assuming Dark Horse will continue the deluxes. But yeah, this is volume 13. It is retail price $49.99. You can get it for $34.99. Excuse me. Squeak there a minute. $34.99 at CGN next Monday. And this includes 3 fold-out posters. I got a couple questions in the chat. Let's hit those up real fast. We have Bow Troll. The go from Ant-Man is an old Native American ceremony. Okay, I don't understand what that is. Digital paparazzi here, slinging creepy. Okay, I don't know who Bow Troll is, but welcome to the chat. I don't know what he's talking about. Connor here says, I do love a cheeky sale. Yes, Connor. We do have a massive omnibus sale, which we'll be talking about, and it is very cheeky. Then DT, how is the this for people unfamiliar with Silver Surfer. It's great. I know. I don't know if you missed it, but it's perfect for new readers. I have like the old omnibus of Silver Surfer, and I have like 6 epic collections of Silver Surfer. So I've read a lot of Silver Surfer comics of the older material, of back when like his appearances in the original Fantastic Four, his subsequent run by Stan Lee and John Buscema, and then all of his runs with Stevie Englehart and Jim Starlin. I've read all that stuff, but this is very much a new status quo. Any sort of references they have in this omnibus to older stuff that happened, they'll pick up right where they'll introduce all that stuff for you. So there's nothing you need to have read beforehand. Anything you need to know about the Silver Surfer mythos beforehand will be explained to you. If you're not familiar with the Silver Surfer character, I mean, he's a herald of Galactus. So basically, Galactus is the eater of worlds. He goes around and eats planets to keep himself alive, to sustain himself. And he goes to eat the planet where Silver Surfer's from, Norrin Rad. And Norrin begs of him not to save his own people. And he says, I sacrifice myself. I will be your herald. I will be your assistant. I will fly around the cosmos and find planets for you to eat, as long as you do not eat my planet and kill my people. And I guess I should have a Silver Surfer image here. And so Galactus agrees, and he gives him the power cosmic, and which is where Silver Surfer, who very much looked like a humanoid, he's an alien, but he's humanoid looking, and he gives him the power cosmic, which turns him silver, and gives him the surfboard. So then Silver Surfer's journey there is to fly around the cosmos, and because he is a humanitarian, if you will, or whatever, he doesn't want to kill people, so he goes and tries to find empty planets where no one's living for Galactus to eat. And so that's his journey. That's the pitch to his characters. He goes around finding empty planets for Galactus to eat, so Galactus doesn't kill people. That's all you need to know. And then from there on, the journey begins. Anything else the reference from older stuff, though, they will explain it to you. I know that was hopefully I didn't butcher that too bad. Up next, we have Snow Angels Library Edition hardcover. This is written by Jeff Lemire. Artist is Jock. And this is Dark Horse Comics. Okay. So this is probably Jeff Lemire's last non-Black Hammer series that will be released by a publisher that's not Image, because Jeff Lemire has just recently signed a exclusive deal with Image Comics. But this will be released through Dark Horse, because this was originally a digital comic on Comixology. And this is the first time I believe it's in print. I don't know that. Has it been released in trade paperback? Let me know in the chat. But this will be a library edition hardcover. So it would be oversized, just like Dark Horse always does. These beautiful library editions. This will be retail price at $49.99. But 30% off at CGN for only $34.99 next Monday. Let me know in the chat if you've read this too, because I have not. Well, here it says collects Snow Angels TBB Volume 1 and 2. So I guess it has been released in trade paperback. But I know it wasn't released physically in singles because it was digital. So, and I believe this is the whole story. I don't know that they're continuing this. Yeah, so this should be a one and done type deal because Jeff Lemire is exclusive to Image, so I don't know that he can continue the story. It's a science fiction saga set in a brutal world like no other. Millie and May don't really know how their people came to live here. No one does, not even their wise and gentle father. On Milliken's 12th birthday, their father takes the two girls on an overnight skate down the trench, a coming-of-age ritual to teach them how to fish the frozen river. It's a trip of a lifetime until the girls push beyond the borders of their humble land and awaken the trench's deadly defender, the snowman. So there you go. Jeff Lemire is great. Jacques' art is great. I don't know how you can miss on that option there. Up next, we have our only Epic Collection for the week. This is Spider-Man Epic Collection, or Amazing Spider-Man Epic Collection, The Goblin Lives. This has writer Stanley and Gary Friedrich and Arnold Drake. Whose birthday was yesterday. I mean, he has since passed. He passed away in 2007, but yesterday was his birthday. Artist John Romita Sr. with Ross Andrew. Ross Andrew is my personal second favorite Spider-Man artist after Steve Ditko. Steve Ditko, I feel like should be the consensus favorite artist of Spider-Man for everybody. He definitely is mine. But Ross Andrew is number 2 for me. He's awesome. So this is Amazing Spider-Man issues 53 through 67. So this is just after Ditko. John Romita Sr. picks up, I think in the early 40s. If Sandwichism was in the chat, he could let me know which issue Ditko leaves off on. I forget. But this is probably the second volume with John Romita Sr. Spider-Man art. It also includes Spectacular Spider-Man 1 and 2, Marvel Heroes. So this is a new printing, and Omar of Near My Condition always lets people know that whenever there's a new printing, a reprint, if you will, of an Epic Collection, that the print run is smaller. So if this is a reprint that you're looking for, don't hesitate too much on trying to buy it. This will be available at CGN next week on Monday for $26.99, just 40% off retail. And Spider-Man, if you're trying to collect Amazing Spider-Man Epic Collection, this is the year to do it. There are so many Amazing Spider-Man reprints and new printings of the Epic Collection line that if you're an Epic Collection collector and one of the lines you want to collect is Amazing Spider-Man, this is the year to do it because there are a lot of releases and reprints. Up next, we have, and keep the chat going. Let's see if, let me know what comic books you've been reading lately. Let me know what comic books you're excited to pick up that are coming out in the future. And any questions you have. Any cheap graphic novel related questions I can answer. This next one's a great release. This is a new printing, a trade paperback version of what was previously released in hardcover. This is The Life and Art of Alex Toth. Volume 2, Genius Illustrated. Alex Toth is one of the all-time masters of cartooning, especially if you're into artists that have like a clean line, that just have like a very strong ink line that they don't need any sort of hatching or anything else to muck up what they're drawing. Just have a very strong cartooning style, like I'm thinking of like a Hergé of Tintin fame. Who else had a good style like that? Steve Ditko was pretty good with that kind of clear line style, but Alex Toth is fantastic. And this is oversized. It's 9.5 by 13 books, so it's the same dimensions as the previously released hardcovers, and it was like a 3-volume set, and then they had a 4th one that was like the Lost Art of Alex Toth, I believe. But they're re-releasing them in trade paperback, and it's in a cheaper. They're cheaper now, more affordable. And I believe that the idea would be to keep these more in print because those hardcovers went out of print like really fast. But if you're into cartooning and classic art, or you're an artist yourself and you just want to study a master cartoonist, these are the books to get because Alex Toth is like it's magnificent. But this will be released next week, and its retail price $34.99. But at CGN next Monday, you can get it for $24.99. So, and those are, even though it says volume 2, like there's not a continuation of story. It's just like a 3-volume set of like these are all of Alex Toth's stories. So if you missed out on volume 1, which I can check again, let me know in the chat if you want me to check if it's still in stock. It just came out a few months ago. But if you missed out on one, you can still get that. You won't be missing any sort of story per se. Up next is All Talk hardcover. This is by Black Panel Press. I'm going to butcher these names. The writer is Bartosz Sistbor, and the artist is Akusel. Let me know in the chat if you know the proper pronunciations of this, but this Cover looks great. It says Raheem is a suburban kid like any other, a good kid, chilling with his boys, hearing the legends of Immortal Al, the greatest gangster who ever lived. It's not hard to get stars in his eyes. Raheem starts dreaming of becoming a kingpin, idolizing his local gangsters in the hope of climbing their ranks. But his friends laugh. They say he's all talk, no action, until one day he sees an opportunity to prove himself. That sounds awesome. And that's a hardcover from Black Panel Press. Get that for $23.99 next week at CGN. We have Judge Dredd, Reguide. I don't know what that word is. But this is by Arthur Wyatt with Arthur Wyatt and Rob Williams, artists Jake Lynch and Ian Richardson. I believe this is a newer story. It's by Rebellion 2000 AD, trade paperback. You get that for $19.20. Then we have Batman the Dark Knight Detective, Volume 7, trade paperback. And let me know if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the last volume of these. I think Batman 474, or Detective Comics, I'm sorry, Batman 474. Maybe there's one more after this, but this is like the line. There's Dark Knight Detective, and then there's Cape Crusader. There's these thick trade paperbacks that DC's been releasing, and Dark Knight Detective collects the Detective Comics side, and then Cape Crusader collects the Batman comics, like the title Batman comics, and then together they are both lines together collect basically post Crisis on Infinite Earths Batman leading up to Nightfall. And Nightfall, I know Bane, spoiler alert, breaks Batman's back in Batman 497. And it looks like this has Batman 474. So there might be one more volume after this before Nightfall. Regardless, this is $14.99. And you get that next week. That's $10 off the cover price. And then we have this one. This is a big release I'm excited about. So this is Batman Superman World's Finest, Volume 1, standard size hardcover. But this is by writer Mark Waid and the artist Dan Mora, with Travis Moore, I believe, doing one issue in here. But there are very few artists going today better than Dan Mora. And there are very few writers alive today that write better superhero comics than Mark Waid. Like, as far as writing like perfect big two superhero comics, I put like Mark Waid, Kurt Busiek. Like, those are the two that I feel like I can go into any of their comic book stories and feel confident it's going to be a great, capes and cows and tights, fun story. So Mark Waid just being paired up with Dan Moore is exciting to me. Like, Mark Waid, just like Kurt Busiek, they're both like historians of the superhero genre. So they appreciate and elevate superheroes, as much as they can be. They respect the lore. They respect the characters. There's no deconstructionism in their stories. It's all reconstructionism. It's all elevating the medium kind of thing. And this includes the first 6 issues of this run. I have not read this at all, but I'm really excited to read it. I've heard nothing but great things. I know Connor, if you're still in the chat, I know he's been a big fan of this run. So, yeah, that's the first volume of that. That'll be available next Monday for $14.99. We have Mooncakes graphic novel. This is $13.49 next week. This is from Oni Press. Writer Suzanne Walker. Artist is Wendy Zhu. XU. I don't know how to pronounce that. Story of Love and Demons, Family and Witchcraft. Looks like it's a coming of age tale. Let me know if you've read that. It looks like a YA novel. We have Power Rangers, Volume 6, trade paperback. This is the Ryan Parrott era of Power Rangers. And artist is Marco Arena. This includes X Power Rangers 21, 22, Power Rangers Unlimited, the Death Ranger #1. All right, so it includes a few issues of Power Rangers. The aforementioned Connor, if he's still in the chat, I know he loves this run. You get that for $12.73. That's from Boom Studios, right? Boom Studios, yeah. Then we have Bash. So this is writer's Rudy Gobert, which if you're not a basketball fan, you might not know who that is. But Rudy Gobert is this French basketball star he's one of my favorite that are in the NBA right now, but he plays for the Minnesota Timberwolves. But he's from France. This is by Titan Comics, and Rudy is a big fan of manga anime. So this is a basketball story, and it says it's a YA OGN original graphic novel, perfect for basketball, sci-fi, and sports manga fans. So if you're into sports manga or basketball, maybe you should buy this. I want to read this though because I like Rudy Gobert a lot. I didn't know he was even doing this until I saw it. Maybe you get that for $12.59 next week. Then we have X-Men Trials of X Volume 6 trade paperback. This is the long line of the post Hoxpox era of X-Men. So they had like the Dawn of X, Trials of X, something else of X I can't think of right now. But it's a long line of trade paperbacks that are like anthology style that collect every issue of what's going on in X-Men right now. That's Volume 6. You get that for $11.99. Ice House on the Lake Volume 2 trade paperback. This is the James Tynion the Fourth story. Artist Alvaro Martinez Bueno. This includes issues 7 through 12. The blockbuster horror hit concludes with a bang. So that's the last volume. So volumes 1 and 2 will conclude there. I can definitely look up to see if we have volume 1 in stock if you want to know. We have Batgirls Volume 2, Batgirl Summer trade paperback. Is this the current run? Who is this? Becky Cloonan. Artist Robbie Rodriguez. Yeah, I think this is the current era. This includes Batgirls 7 through 12. 3 Batgirls are still better than 2. Cass Kane, Steph Brown, and Babs Gordon kick even more ASS in Batgirls Volume 2. That sounds awesome. And I like Robbie Rodriguez's artwork. That cover looks great too. Definitely let me know if you're reading that. I might need to dive into that. I've been doing a deep dive into Batman comics this year from all eras. And one of the things that part of that deep dive is like splintering off into the Bat family and stuff. Let me know if this should be added to my read pile. Then we have Snowcat Prince trade paperback. This is a Oni Press book, art and writing by Dina Norland. Looks to be like an OGN, one and done type deal. We have Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, official movie prequel, trade paperback. The Feast of the Moon. The world's most popular tabletop role-playing game is coming to the big screen March 3rd, 2023. So this is a prequel to the upcoming movie. And this is $10.49 next week. It's trade paperback, IDW Publishing. Jeremy Lambert is the writer, and the artist is Eduardo Ferrigato. Teen Titans Robin, trade paperback. This is part of the YA line of DC original graphic novels. This one's by Kami Garcia. Artist is Gabriel Piccolo. They've teamed together on a few other ones. They've done Beast Boy and Raven, and this one looks to be Robin. So quite a few that probably all work together in a series. Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes, book 2, trade paperback. This is by John Rogers, artist Raphael Albuquerque, and this collects issues 13 through 25. So this is a thicker trade paperback, includes 12 issues, and it's only $10.19. So definitely jump on that, especially if you're trying to get into Blue Beetle ahead of the movie coming out. Tiny Marvel Masterworks, Daredevil Volume 2. We have 2 covers here. The DM variant cover, which includes the cover here by is that John Romita Sr. on the art? This is a classic art cover. And this includes issues of Daredevil 12 through 21. And then the other cover by Michael Cho. Or no, I'm sorry. Oh, it's Romero that does the cover. Michael Cho had been doing the covers of these. This includes more of a modern artist classic take on the art, I guess. It's new artwork on the cover, is my point. But they kind of keep it looking classic, so it's not jarring when you look into the interiors. But this includes 10 issues. So these are smaller digest size. The Mighty Marvel Masterworks line is like smaller digest size trade paperbacks collecting in chronological order all the Silver Age stories, just like the original Masterworks line. With Gambit, Thick as Thieves. Oh, sorry, and those were $9.59 a piece. Gambit, Thick as Thieves. This is by Chris Claremont and artist is Sid Koshin. This is Chris Claremont's return to writing X-Men, and he's writing Gambit 1 through 5 here. This is a newer series, came out last year, and includes the entire miniseries. Then we have, we're concluding here. Space Boy Volume 15. This is a long line of trade paperbacks, and I know they have a giant like connecting cover on the spines too, which is great. But this is a Stephen McCraney series, and it's I think it's an all ages. Yeah, an all ages comic. So that's volume 15 coming out. You get that for $9.09 next week. So those are all the books coming out next week. Let's hop on over to the massive Marvel Omnibus Sale. Take a look at what is still available there. We got about 20 minutes here. I'm going to try to run for an hour here. I know Marvel. I know Omar over at Near Mint Condition is going live at 1, and I don't want to interfere with that. All right, so clicking on the Marvel Omnibus Sale now. See what's still in stock. Oh, they're all still in stock. We have 96 titles to run through. I know last week when I went over these, excuse me, Max was still posting some or fixing the post on some, so they weren't all available. So I'm going to run through these. If you're in the chat, stop me if you have any questions on most of these omnibuses. I can answer most of the questions. And then, yeah, all these are still available for order, and they're at these prices currently. There's the button I was talking about earlier, add to cart. Those next week's releases that currently say out of stock on Monday, once they go live, they'll say add to cart there. And these are in alphabetical order. So let's run through these. These are the Aliens, the original Marvel Omnibus Volume 1. We have the Nelson cover and the Greg Land cover available. These are 50% off for $62.50. That original cover is great though. The Nelson cover. That's the one I would recommend getting. But these Aliens comics are great. I love them. I think they're some of my favorite horror comics. If you're a fan of the Aliens movies, they're not direct adaptations, so these are new stories. And they actually do take place in that same universe. This volume does, at least. Eventually, they've split off into miniseries that take place in the same universe, obviously, because there's still xenomorphs running around. But these actually have connecting tissue to a lot of the same characters you see from the movies. But they're fun comics. I like them a lot. We have Avengers, Young Avengers by Kieran Gillen and Jamie McKelvey. This one's only $37.50. That's 50% off. Black Widow Strikes Omnibus, $50. This is a lot of her Silver Age stories leading up to her mid-90s stories, I believe. I had that question last week, and I had this omnibus, so I have the exact cover that's on sale too. Let me stop sharing for a second here to show this off. So this is the book. Try to get the glare off of there. And it includes like from her earliest stories where she still has like this weird getup, like that's her costume, all the way to her run with Daredevil, where she's running around with Daredevil. Where she has like the newer costume. So it includes, how many issues of Daredevil does it include? Where can I find it? Daredevil Annual 10. Oh, Daredevil 81. Oh, so it only includes one issue of Daredevil. That's interesting. Yeah, but it does include the entire 10-issue run of Amazing Adventures, where she was splitting the book within Humans. But then it also leads into like more modern art too, where she still has like that same costume, but more of a modern take. But I think, let me see what the dates on the most modern story is, because it's mostly Silver and Bronze Age. In 1998 is the most recent story. So you get 34 years of stories. Her first appearance in April of 1964 all the way to 1968. I don't think there's any letters pages because she didn't have any solo titles back then. But a great comic, or great omnibus. I know some people don't like those, say they don't like those. Oh, do I still have that up there? I'm sorry. The question there, sorry. Some people say they don't like those character-based omnibuses because it's not one consistent run. But I always advocate for reading things in certain contexts. And I think just reading through all those issues of like Iron Man and Avengers and stuff that Black Widow has appeared in, it's like a fun context to read it in, of just like her appearances rather than reading all the Iron Man and then reading all the Avengers and then reading. It's kind of a fun, fluid story there. Anyways, I digress. Captain America by Ed Brubaker, Volume 3. Captain America Lives. This is only $37.50. This is the third volume. So there's 5 Ed Brubaker Captain America volumes. Volumes 4 and 5 are due for reprints later this year. So if you're looking to complete that collection, there you go. I can check to see if volumes 1 and 2 are available if you want to know. Captain America by Jack Kirby Omnibus. This is, so you get this for only $49.99, 50% off. This is Jack Kirby's return to Captain America. So he created the character with Joe Simon in the Golden Age, and then Silver Age, they unfreeze Captain America and bring him back. Jack Kirby had a long run of Captain America for the Silver Age, and this is his return to Captain America in the Bronze Age. So it's really fun that Jack Kirby had 3 different runs with the character. And this is like just bonkers 70 Kirby at his best. Like I love Jack Kirby. He's my favorite artist ever, but my favorite era of Jack Kirby is the 70s, and this is just fun stuff. And it includes, and there's no volume number on this either. So if you're wanting just one Captain America omnibus of older material, maybe get this. It just says Captain America by Jack Kirby on the spine. I have Captain Britain here with the Wilson cover. It's only $62.50. Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, A Hero is Born with the Amanda Connor cover. I think this is her first stories, right? Chris Claremont. Let's see. Team Up 2-in-1, Avengers. Yes, this is like her original stories, Ms. Marvel's debut. So don't be fooled by that modern cover there. If you look at the bottom right of that cover, that's the costume you'll see her wearing most of the time throughout this volume. You can see Rogue on there too, since she has a lot to do with her origin, if you will. Cloak and Dagger Volume 2 with the Larry Stroman cover is only $50. Oh, and you can also get the Rick Leonardi cover for only $50. Conan the Barbarian Volume 5, Alex Ross cover, $62.50. Conan Volume 7 with the Buscema cover, $62.50. The Lionel Francis Yu cover of Volume 7, $62.50. Volume 8 of Conan, Isherwood cover, same price, $62.50. Higgins cover of Volume 9, and the Jim Lee cover of Volume 9 as well. Those are $62.50. Volume 10 with the Jim Lee and the McFarlane cover, you get those for $75 each. And then Conan the King, the original Marvel Years, Volume 1, for $62.50. So you probably know that Titan Comics is taking over the license, the Heroic Signatures license, which includes Conan, and they're reprinting and then printing new omnibuses of this material, same material. One thing I would say though, Conan the King, that omnibus, I don't know when they'll reprint that. It'll probably be later the one because they're focusing on the Savage Sword and then the original Marvel years first. So if you're wanting the Marvel years, the King Conan, 6250 is not bad. And then any of these other volumes, we've already seen the trade dress for the Titan versions of these Conan omnibuses. They're very much in line with what Marvel did, so they're going to match on your shelf. So if you have any of these gap fillers or you want to pick up these for cheaper, because these are cheaper than you'll get the Titan ones for, I will say, especially at these prices, 50% off. Absolutely, you'll get these cheaper than what Titan will be selling them at. And the trade dress is going to match. The only difference is going to say Titan rather than Marvel at the top of the spine. Otherwise, Titan is very much trying to make sure those spines still match on your shelf. I would pick up a lot of these and then fill in the gaps with Titan as they go. If I were looking for Conan comics in omnibus format, we have a lot of Savage Sword here. Bill Sienkiewicz cover there. Never go wrong, Bill Sienkiewicz. We have about 9 minutes, so I'm going to try to run through this a little bit faster. Daredevil by Brubaker and Michael Lark, Volume 1 with the David Finch cover. That's $50. This is a big one. Only for $37.50 can you get Doctor Strange Omnibus Volume 1 with the Steve Ditko cover. This is the direct market variant cover. That includes all the Steve Ditko Doctor Strange comics, which are must-reads for anybody wanting to read like the origin story of Doctor Strange or great Silver Age comics. Like I always put up Ditko's Spider-Man, Kirby's Fantastic Four as like the top 2 pinnacle of Silver Age Marvel. Doctor Strange would probably be really close to those two. It's a very fun run, and you can get this for only $37.50. That's a price you can't beat. And then you want to do the follow-up. You want to get the stuff with Roy Thomas and Gene Colan, I believe, does most of this art. Who else is on art here? Bill Everett does a lot of the art. Volume 2 here is only $50. So for $87.50, you can get volumes 1 and 2. Then we have Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, volumes 1 and 3. Those are $62.50. This is more of the late 80s, early 90s run. There's 3 of those omnibuses total that complete that run. I don't think volume 2 is in stock, but I can check if you want me to. Empire Omnibus. This includes the entire Empire event that encapsulated the Avengers and Fantastic Four runs of recent years, which is like the Jason Aaron and the Dan Slott runs of those characters. That's $62.50. Excalibur Volume 1 and Volume 2 here. Volume 1 is $62.50. Volume 2 is 60% off for only $49.99. If you haven't heard, Volume 3 will be coming down the pipeline this year. So if you're wanting to pick up Excalibur, you can get these 2 volumes for pretty cheap and then be prepared for the Volume 3. So here we go. The Alan Davis cover of Volume 2 is only $49.99. The Joe Madureira cover is $62.50. So if you love Joe Mad, pay a little bit extra for that one, or you can just go $49.99. $49.99. The aforementioned Golden Age era of Captain America Volume 1 for only $62.50. This includes the entire issues. So Captain America comics were like 64-page comics, I believe. So if you look on here, it all includes like 10 issues or 12 issues. Yeah, 1 through 12. But they're bigger. There's more pages to them. And they're not just Captain America comics. So you get Captain America, I think you get like a prose story in there. Like Stan Lee's first ever story from Marvel was a prose story that took up a few pages. But you also get stories from other characters that weren't Captain America. So like the Captain America story would be like 20 pages and the rest would be filled out with other characters. But it includes all the ads, I think, all the Marvel ads, and then the letters pages and stuff. And then if you're wanting to know, like that includes issues 1 through 12. Kirby and Joe Simon only did issues 1 through 10 before they departed. So issues 11 and 12 are by other people. Hellstorm by Warren Ellis for $37.50. Or the Duck by Chip Zdarsky and Joe Quinones. This is only $30 for that omnibus. And they have both cover options here. You either get the Tradmore cover or the Joe Quinones cover. Incredible Hulk by Peter David, Volume 4. You have 2 options here for $62.50 of Mike Deodato or one of the Kubert brothers. Incredible Hulk Volume 1. We have both options here for $50, 50% off. You get the Jack Kirby cover or the Alex Ross homage cover. And Volume 2 was announced for later this year, so if you want to pick up that, do that. Now, Infinity by Starlin and Hickman for $62.50. Jessica Jones, Alias Omnibus. We have both covers here. That's only $50. Kazar for $62.50. That's 50% off. Loki. We have the Mark Brooks cover, or the Maurice, or the John Severin or Maurice Severin. What Severin is this? Maurice Severin, who is awesome. I love Maurice Severin. But you get either cover here for $49.99. That's 60% off on that one. Save $75. Luke Cage, we have the John Romita Sr. or the Phil Noto cover. They're both $62.50. That includes the first 47 issues, I believe, of Luke Cage. Yes. So you have Hero for Hire 1 through 16, and then it was renamed Power Man 17 through 47. So that leads up to those first 47 issues, lead up to the Power Man and Iron Fist comics, which were renamed, I think, I want to say, yeah, issue 50. So Power Man 48, 49, and then Power Man and Iron Fist were renamed starting with issue 50. If there's a Power Man Iron Fist Omnibus, that'll follow up this one. And Thing Omnibus. This includes the entire Steve Gerber run plus all of his other appearances from the era, $62.50. Marvel August 1961 and Marvel June 1962. The August 61 is $75. The June 62 is $62.50. Those are both available right now for 50% off. And the July 63 book is coming out soon. Also, the Rodriguez cover. So you get the Rodriguez cover for both of them. And then also the Steve Ditko Amazing Fantasy 15 unused cover for the June one. Marvel Masters of Suspense Steve Ditko Volume 2 is only $49.99. That's a book I will say would likely not get reprinted. So if you're wanting the Steve Ditko stuff, I would definitely buy that. Moon Knight by Houston, Benson, and Hurwitz, $62.50. Or the Moon Knight Omnibus Volume 2 direct market variant by Frank Miller, $62.50. And they also have we also have the Volume 2 by Alex Ross cover for $62.50. New Mutants by the McCloud cover for $62.50. This is the first volume of New Mutants. This is a really good comics. I love these comics. It's Chris Claremont. In this era was kind of getting like really out there with his ideas as far as like the soap opera aspects of needing to read like every issue of X-Men. These are more of his grounded stories of New Mutants, which are very much follow this group of characters, and then it leads into the great Bill Sienkiewicz artwork era. Phoenix Omnibus Volume 1, we have both covers for $50, 50% off. Power Pack Omnibus Volume 2 for only $62.50. She-Hulk by Peter David, $37.50. Then we have Savage She-Hulk for $50. So the Peter David run is more modern. The Savage She-Hulk run is like her first run ever, and that's $50. Silver Surfer Omnibus with the Assad Ribic cover for only $50. This is the Stan Lee, John Buscema run, and the only other Silver Surfer omnibus we have. So earlier we talked about the Mike Allred, Dan Slott run. This is the only other omnibus that exists from Silver Surfer. So if you're wanting both those omnibuses, here you go. JMS Spider-Man Volume 1 is $62.50. Amazing Spider-Man Volume 3 for $62.50 with the Gil Kane cover. Spider-Man by Roger Stern, $62.50 for both covers. And like I said last week, that perfectly follows up that previously released Spectacular Spider-Man Omnibus. Star Wars by Jason Aaron, Omnibus for $62.50. Star Wars Legends, Rise of the Sith. Star Wars, both covers there. Star Wars Legends, The Empire, Volume 1. Those are all $62.50. Thor by Matt Fraction, both covers for $62.50. Mighty Thor Volume 1, the Jack Kirby Stan Lee era for $50. Thunderbolts Volume 2, both covers, $62.50. War of the Realms with the Dodderman cover and the Arthur Adams cover. That includes the entire War of the Realms event that Jason Aaron's Thor run builds up to. Those are $62.50. Weapon X, the Return Omnibus, $62.50. What If Volume 2, we have the Budiansky and the Rob Layton cover, $62.50. Oh, and the John Romita Jr. We have all three covers of that What If for $62.50. And then the X-Men Avengers Onslaught Omnibus, we have both covers there for $62.50. Jonathan Hickman X-Men Omnibus with the Russell Donnerman cover for only $37.50. Then we have Follow the Mutants Omnibus for only $50. X-Men Inferno for $62.50. X-Men Inferno Prologue with the Arthur Adams cover for only $50. Mutant Massacre for only is 50% off for only $62.50. And then we have both covers of that. We have the John Romita Jr. cover and the Alan Davis cover. Those are both 50% off. So a lot of X-Men event omnibuses we have for 50% off here. X-Men Omnibus Volume 2, 55% off. We have both covers, the George Tuska and the John Cassaday. This is a great era. This is Roy Thomas. You have all the Neil Adams issues in here. It's a fun era of X-Men that's underrated, in my opinion. X-Men Wolverine. Wolverine and the X-Men by Jason Aaron. We have both covers here, one by Stuart Immonen and one by Chris Bacalo, $62.50. And that's it. Wow, that was a lot. Okay. I'm out of breath. I need some coffee. And we ran about an hour. So here we go. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it immensely. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe on your way out if you're not already subscribed. And the best thing you can do for me is to share the channel with your friends that love comics as well. I really want to get to 100 subscribers by the end of this week. That's our first goal. We're almost there. I think we're in the 90s somewhere. I'd really appreciate it if we could get up to 100. So thank you so much for joining me. We'll be back next week for more CGN Live. Maybe I'll do a little video here and there to put on the channel as well. I have an unboxing video on the channel already. I want to do a little bit more stuff like that. Follow us on social media on Instagram and Twitter at CheapGN. And be sure to hop on the website and buy some comics this week. So thank you guys for joining me.